Welcome back. Well, the deadly Pretoria train crash has once again thrust the spotlight on commuter safety. At least 3 people died in that collision last week. There have been a number of crashes in recent months. Back in June, a train collision in Elandsfontein in Ekurhuleni also claimed 1 life. Over 100 people sustained injuries when a train crashed in Selby. That happened back in September. Now, eNCA's Lindokuhle Xulu joins us now live. I understand he is somewhere in Johannesburg now. Linda, you've been travelling on metro rail trains just to gauge this issue of commuter safety, particularly on trains. Where are you now, and what has your experience been over the last few hours this Monday morning? All right, it seems we're still trying to gauge our connection to our reporter, Lindokuhle Xulu, but that is a live picture that we are getting from a commuter train. It's at a station, I understand it might be in Mayfair. Lindokuhle Xulu has been travelling throughout the morning to gauge commuter safety following that horror crash in Pretoria last week. A train crashing into another train which was stationary at the time. You remember 600 people sustaining injuries and being taken to various hospitals, 3 people having lost their lives in that horror crash. Lindokuhle, if you are able to hear us now, we've got your live picture inside the train. There you are. Take us through what your experience has been over the past few hours this morning.
Well, Michelle, in fact, I can tell you that coming from Soweto to Johannesburg, it took about 3 hours from 7 a.m. until 10 a.m. to actually get to Park Station from Naledi Station. It's quite a lengthy time. There's a lot of delays, and not a lot of communication in terms of what exactly is happening for the commuters. Some of them even abandon the trains and walk outside, in fact, to walk to the nearest station. But the experience is that there is a lot of disregard first from the passengers in terms of the safety, because they're not staying put, but that might be led to several things. I mean, they mentioned, if I can just flip my camera again and show you, these are supposed to be ventilations for the passengers to actually be able to get some fresh air inside, and of course complemented by the windows here that you see, but this particular one is broken and there's no window at all. But this, because of the congestion, we understand that commuters now resort to actually keeping these doors open, putting their feet to where exactly I am putting my feet, and ensuring that they do not close so that they can get some air. But what I can tell you is that this begs the question of the maintenance, rather, of metro rail in terms of, do they maintain their things, because there is no air that is supposed to come out, in fact, from these ventilations, and the passengers are saying that they have to find a way to actually ventilate themselves, to find a way to actually get some fresh air. I mean, it is a hot day, and if there is in fact, the train that I was in going to Park Station, there was actually, it was filled, even the passages that you see here. There was a lot of people here, and because of that, there is a lot of heat, and therefore they resort to finding other means, in fact, to keep this open and ensure that there is ventilation. But there is a safety disregard from them. There are a lot of delays on these trains, and I mean, if look at these chairs, these are the benches that people usually sit on, and if there is a crash or if there is a collision, you see there's not a lot of bracing material in terms of making sure that passengers do not fly out of their seats. So those are some of the concerns that we are seeing, in fact, right now, and the ones that are standing, in fact, just have to hold on to whatever they can hold on. And as you can see, these bars are the only thing that you can hold on to, and of course the ones that are near the doors. But at the end of the day, I think passengers are saying that they have to make a plan for themselves to make the ride as smooth as possible, which then comes to a sense where now they are disregarding their safety.
Yeah, I mean, this is an issue that is prevalent around the country. We know in the Western Cape, we've seen the images of people hanging onto train doors, trying to get to work on time any way they can. You've described the same situation in Johannesburg this morning, with it taking you 3 hours to get to Park Station. I mean, it's a difficult situation for people who are trying to get to work on time and whose employers are not always understanding.
Well, in fact, we even saw school pupils, Michelle, to even see how drastic or how troublesome this situation is. So everyone is just flocking into one train. When they say one train is going to Johannesburg, you'd find that, they all flock into that one, even if it's overcrowded, because they need to get to their respective destinations. And that is why you find that many people do not even, let a train go, even if it's full. And they stand outside, and they even stand on side passages, most of them, and it is unsafe, as I'm showing you. I am at a safe distance right now, but quite an unsafe situation that plays out, particularly because of those delays and trying to ensure that they get to their respective destinations in time. So a lot of disregard in terms of the safety from commuters, but they're saying that it is not unwarranted because they cannot afford not to get to work, and because of the overcrowdings in these trains, they try now to actually, find ways, because these windows, I see a lot of them have been broken, and you might question the vandalism from the passengers as well as the maintenance, or the lack of rather, in terms of these trains. But this is what is called a contingency plan from their side to ensure that they get to their respective destinations in time.
All right, well, we'll leave it there for now. Our reporter Lindokuhle Xulu on what seems to be a rather bumpy ride there. He was in Park Station just a moment ago, but we are tracking the issue around commuter safety on the channel this morning. He says it took